Have you ever met one of those people who just can't be stopped? It's like they're unstoppable.
Yeah, I have.
Me too.
What's their mystique?
Nothing stops these people.
Don't stop.
Welcome to Mission Unstoppable with Coach Frankie Picasso. You're about to meet some of the most amazing people.
Stop. Don't stop.
They've accomplished their goals despite insurmountable odds. They beat adversity, physical hardship, and traumatic events, and emerged triumphantly. They're people just like you and me, and they're winners. Are you unstoppable? Here's Frankie to show you how.
Hello there, and welcome to Mission Unstoppable. Today we have a little bit different show format for you. I'm not alone, and I do have two guests with me. One, you know, Brent Marchant from Frankie More. He is our Good Radio Network movie correspondent and critic. And another amazing guest today is Renee Scheltema. She is a director, writer, producer, photographer, and we're going to be talking about her very special film, Normal is Over. And before we do that, I promised to give a shout out to my new friend Tahir Ramzan from Pakistan. He didn't believe that I would actually do that, so here we go. Hello, Tahir. Renee is a Dutch documentary filmmaker and photographer. As I said, she lives in Cape Town, South Africa, sometimes, because she's always traveling. Yes. And as I said, we're featuring her documentary today, Normal is Over. She has 2 degrees, one in criminology, another in TV journalism and photojournalism. She has a BA at law. And, you know, I don't know if she's an overachiever or not, but she's certainly a brilliant person and brilliant woman, and I'm so pleased to have her on the show today. She has worked for Dutch television as a director, producer, camera person for over 35 years, and many of her documentaries have been selected at international film festivals. And she also has worked, and her work can be seen as a photographer in magazines and newspapers from Holland to the U.S. to South Africa, and she's a member of the New York Getty's Images. Welcome, Renee.
Not anymore.
Not anymore? Okay.
No, I was a member of Gamma Liaison, which was in Paris, and then it was taken over by Getty. And I'm going to stop here.
Okay. And welcome, Brent, to Mission Unstoppable. I think this might be your first time on this show.
I think it is. Thanks, Frankie, for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and I thank you. It was actually Brent who brought Renee and this film to my attention and said, you know, Frankie, I think that this would be a great person to interview and a great topic to talk about, and I so wholeheartedly agree with you, Brent.
Thank you, Brent.
Yeah.
Oh, my pleasure. It's a wonderful film, and it's a message that definitely deserves to get out, you know, wider with further exposure that people need to know about.
It's an outstanding film. Why don't you set us up, Renee, with the short version, and we're going to go in depth into all of the things that we found in the documentary.
Okay. Yeah. One line. Well, Normal is Over, the movie is a documentary that I spent 5-6 years of my life making. Of course, I've been thinking about it. It's been brewing in my head. But when my kids left home, I decided, okay, let me just see if I can pull this off, because basically it's about the fact that, you know, we have to overcome growthism. You know, economic growth is almost never talked about as the culprit of everything else. And that's sort of my analysis. Climate change is not something that you can fix by just, renewable energy. It's a symptom. You have to change something else. There will still be if you drive on solar, there will still be plastic in the ocean. We have a bigger problem. And I tried to find funding in Holland, and I thought, well, you know, one-woman crew making a documentary, connecting the dots on the big picture of what we're doing to this planet, that's just too much. Good luck. And also they're part of, maybe the establishment, and for the establishment to support a film like this is maybe hard. In hindsight. Anyway, I just decided that I would, as a one-woman crew, go on a journey searching for. Most documentaries are really about the drama, and you go home all depressed. And I really wanted to search for solutions because we all know the drama. You can see it out your window, but you need to understand where it's coming from, and you need to analyze the big picture before you can even come up with solutions. And so the first part of the film is really analyzing the bigger picture, and then slowly, more and more solutions come up until the end. There's the overarching solution, which is not the solution, but there's many different things we can do on many different levels. And I spent 5 years making it. I shot 180 hours. For about 3.5 years, I edited it down to 10 hours, and then I thought, okay, if I die now, I've said what I need to say.
Okay. Well, it's 103 minutes, the version that we watched. And what I love about this film is that you really did a great job at showing, what is the big picture and offering the solutions. Because a lot of times, people, they lay a lot of blame, but they don't have an action for us at the end. And here, you have you went around the globe. I mean, you literally went around the globe and spoke to many important people who have great knowledge and were able to express in a really simple way how we can save our planet. Not easy, but simple, really.
Well, yeah, that was the greatest challenge. I'm so happy that you say that, because they are sometimes talking really complicated language, and I didn't know what they were talking about. So the biggest challenge was to decode the complicated language of the economists and sometimes politicians, because it's secret language, and it just keeps us believing in this dream that economic growth will make us all happy.
Brent, I think you had a question.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things I was really impressed with the approach that you used was that, if we're going to affect the climate change and sustainability issues, we need to move beyond the symptoms of the problem and our focus on coming up with technological solutions, instead targeting the need for a change in human nature. In light of that, what things do you think we can do to change human nature, given the current state of our thinking being so entrenched and ingrained as it is?
Well, yes, it's a process, right? I wish with a snap of a finger everybody could just change their mind. That would be easy. Then I'd be the ecological dictator telling everybody what to do, and there would not be a problem. So what did Gandhi say? First they laugh at you. Do you know the one? First they're aggressive, then they laugh at you, and then they change. So I think the first step is really to make people aware of what's going on, especially young kids. The younger generation that didn't vote in the US, that didn't vote in Europe, because they're so confused. All the information they get is from Facebook, and they have no clue what's going on. And they're not being informed because the media are infotainment. They're run by, they have to make profit, and dumb information makes profit. And Trump with his idiotic tweets makes a profit. CBS never made as much profit as a pre-election year. Sorry, I'm going off on my own little.
Let me bring this back. Let's just bring this back. We have a problem here on planet Earth.
Yeah.
The problem is, one, that in the current year, right now, we need to have 1.5 planet Earths for the resources that we need for all the people living here. By 2020, in 5 years actually, we are going to need 5 or 6 planet Earths in order to sustain the amount of people that are living on planet Earth. Well, that's not going to happen. So what has to happen, and once we get believers here, what has to happen is we have to stop our growth. We have to stop our growth, and we have to stop consumerism, and we have to stop shopping, and we have to start looking at how are we going to keep this planet for our future. Otherwise, we're not going to be able to do it. Now, one of the experts that you spoke to, and I did not get his name. I'm so sorry. You'll know who I mean, though. When he said that if we don't do this by 2020, we're out of time. don't even bother because we've already lost the game. So people need to get on board right now. Everybody needs to see your film. And everybody, I mean, we're creatures of habit, human beings. We have to do things not once, but many, many times in order for it to, to get inside our brains. And so, we might conserve energy for a week, and we might, put our plastic bags, and we might do this, and we might do that. But we don't always keep our good, the good things that we're supposed to be doing, because we fall back on bad habits. So we really need, from top down and up and wide and everywhere, for people to understand that nobody's joking anymore. This is serious stuff. And the lies that are being spread in the schools, and the lie from the Koch brothers, and the lies that are being, disseminated out, that by Donald Trump, it goes, oh, it's cold. What are you talking about, global warming? That kind of silliness is stupidity, when, there's a clear picture here that everybody can see. We just had Hurricane Harvey and Irma and Jose and more, and the earthquake in Mexico. There's a story. There's a story, and if you follow the dots, you can take it all the way back to where you are in your film, Renee, and that is with money and greed.
Well, yeah, the question has been asked by the public several times. What was first? The greed for money, or are humans naturally greedy? I think humans are not naturally greedy. I think we are destined to work together if we know what we're doing. But the money system has made us greedy. And so we had a long dialogue, but now I don't have a dialogue. I just get to say what I want.
Yeah, and Brent, don't wait for me to call on you. Just pop in whenever you feel like it.
Well, one thing I was thinking was, given what you had just mentioned about the idea of us being creatures of habit, a lot of times we respond better to the carrot than the stick when it gets to getting us to change our habits. Yeah. And I was wondering, are there any particular carrot-driven initiatives that can be employed in connection with this to help get people moving in a direction instead of feeling like they're being dragged into it?
That's a really good question, Renee. We're going to keep that as a cliffhanger because we're going to go to a commercial break in a few seconds. Where are we at? 15 seconds? Okay. So Renee Scheltema, she is the director, producer, writer, whatever you want to call her, famous person now, of the movie Normal is
Normal
Over.
is Over, the movie.com.
Yes. Normal
is over.org.
That's
right. Yeah.
There you go.
Listening. Mission Unstoppable with Coach Frankie Picasso will continue right after these messages.
Stop.
It's words you never heard.
Laughter was such good medicine. Ancient Greek physicians sent their patients to visit comedians to be healed. In the 1300s, surgeon Henry D. Mondeville used to tell jokes to his patients in the recovery room. Dr. Mondeville must have been a bit of a Witzelsuch. That's a person who tells jokes and no one ever laughs. We laugh 6 times more when in the company of another person than we do by ourselves, and 30 times more when we are in a group. Laughter isn't under our conscious control. If you've ever started cachinnating at school, in church, or at a funeral, you know what I'm talking about. Cachinnating is another word for uncontrollable laughter.
It's words you never heard.
I'm Carolyn Davidson, and you can have fun challenging your words you never heard vocabulary with my free app, Too Funny for Words.
It's the Fitness Minute with fitness expert Annette Hammond.
According to the American Cancer Society, over 240,000 men will develop prostate cancer this year. Many men will also be diagnosed with an enlarged prostate. BPH is a non-cancerous increase in the size and number of cells that make up the prostate. Harvard Medical School recommends exercise for prostate cancer prevention. They state that regular exercise pares down your risk of developing some deadly problems, including heart disease, stroke, and certain types of cancers. And although few studies have directly assessed the impact of exercise on prostate health, those that have been done have concluded that exercise is beneficial. If you are a man, take the advice of reputable health institutions and make daily exercise your mode of operation. Not only are you defending yourself against most cancers, you're also increasing your quality of life. I'm Annette Hammond.
And we're back, and thank you. You're listening to Mission Unstoppable Radio. My guest today is Renee Scheltema. My other guest today is our movie correspondent, Brent Marchant, who was kind enough to bring Normal is Over to my attention, and Renee as well. And we are sitting here now with the director of that movie, and we are talking about the topic of that movie, and it's really, how are we going to save planet Earth? How are we going to do this? Before we went to break, Brent asked a wonderful question, a hard question, probably the question. What carrots could we put in front of us as human beings that would make us change or help us change our ways in order for all of us to stop what we're doing and heal our planet?
Yes, that was the question I set out with.
Yeah,
that took me 180 hours to film and 3 years to produce 10 hours, and then another year and a half to produce the current 103 minutes.
Yeah.
Because there's solutions on a variety of levels. It's not just top down; it's also bottom up. It's we have solutions on political levels. People who are creatures of habit, can be taxed petrol, or they can be, let's just say, or tourists can maybe work in a permaculture garden before they hop onto a plane. There's many things that you can ask people to do that they might even want to do to help make a difference. And so it's on an economic level, on a political level, on a small scale level, on an individual level. And I try to really find solutions in many for everyone. So if the whole system thinking is above your head, you can still put solar on your roof, or start a group solar project, or start a vertical garden. Or if you're poor, you can find that grass lawn and start digging and take it out and make a veggie garden and sell your veggies. I mean, there's something that for everyone, really.
Yeah, one of the images that really hurt me as a animal activist was seeing that whale who was packed with 6 square meters of plastic in its belly, and it died because of it. And 6 square meters of plastic, and they were mostly shopping bags that people just threw into the ocean. Like, what are you people thinking? And these animals, it's bad enough that we have oil spills in there, but you're killing them, the birds and all these animals that are just inhaling this stuff, really, with the water and the fish that he's eating and all of that. That just really, really bothered me so very much. And so there was a point in the movie where you interviewed this woman who decided she wasn't going to, use plastic anymore. And you tried it. And you had like a ton of plastic around you. Did that last?
I try and recycle it. And, there's ideas for that too. Like I think in each and every household in the whole world where they still allow plastic bags, they have too many bags at home and then none when they go out for shopping. So one solution is, it's not in the film, but, to put a big recycle box in the front of the store where everybody can dump their plastic bags that they have at home. So at least we reuse them. We shouldn't produce more plastic. It's already plastic in all our drinking water. It's really bad for us. So we have to and plastic, of course, is a derivative of oil and gas. And so it's part of the stuff that we need to just stop using now and take out whatever we can, because we've already destroyed this. There will be more plastic in the oceans than fish by 2050 if we continue like this. It's bloody stupid.
It is.
And so what I thought was the most challenging part of making the story was to go beyond just the drama and all these complaints about. Oh, sorry, I didn't turn off my phone. I did.
Don't worry.
But complaints. Complaints, because it's the financial economic system that's driving us towards greed, because we make money with money, and so everybody wants to make more money, and because you can make money with money, everybody wants more money, and that's everything in nature degrades except money, and we create money out of nothing. It's nothing. It's just a story that we told ourselves.
Right.
We can tell each other a different story. What's happening now is that whether it's politicians or countries or individuals or corporations, they turn free nature into money. and make a profit that way. This model has to stop. This is outdated. It can't. We have to stop it now, and we have to. But first, we have to realize that that's what's happening, because that's not what you hear in the news. In the news, you hear, and I go on about the news, but of course, I've been part of the media, and I'm a one woman investigative journalist, and I have worked with others. But a lot of times, they don't want to hear this sort of story because it doesn't give them profit. And that's maybe why I've been struggling for a while, and I'm so happy that you're listening, because we really need to understand that it's our money system that's eventually killing us if we don't realize what we're doing.
Well, it's amazing how insidious it is too, because here in Chicago, where I live, it's even worked its way into so-called attempts at trying to overcome some of the environmental issues. There was a law that was passed that was designed to help reduce the number of the disposable plastic shopping bags that people were using by imposing a tax if they didn't bring their own bag. So it ended up that a lot of people actually decided, I'm going to start bringing my own bag more often now. And as a result, that was really bringing about, a successful result. But after that happened, the government was complaining, well, we're not getting the tax revenue from these plastic bags we have to charge when they don't bring their own bags. Well, what kind of a message does that send to the public, saying, is this really an environmental initiative, or is this a tax revenue-raising initiative?
It's crazy.
You have a government problem, that's for sure.
One of the things I thought was really great was, when you think about, in the film, they talk about that women affect 70% of the household carbon footprint, and it's our buying habits and our habits really that can make or change or stay the same what is happening. But what I really liked was that the only time there was a two-system currency was when there was a woman in power in Egypt, and so that's very interesting, because I think that I can see women are more sensitive in ways that I like bartering. Like, I think it's great to barter. I'll barter what I do for what you do or what he does, and that makes a lot of sense to me, rather than spending money, because time doesn't cost us money. Time is really free, and it's there's hard cost to some things that people do, but we make it up in different ways. And so I loved how the 1 Million Women organization started and what they're doing. And in order to join, you have to promise to cut a ton of pollution out of your life by the end of a year. Now, how great is that? I think that's awesome.
Yes, but that's you're still coming back to the idea of that climate change is a symptom, really. It's not a problem in itself. Species extinction is just as important. I think in the film I mention it first, because I think it's without bees we're gone soon.
Yeah.
We live in cities. We are surrounded by cars, and we forget that everything that's out there is the same instead of nature. And so we need to look further, beyond our city walls, and understand that without all these animals and plants and trees, there's no future. And it's very easy to ignore, because you can just put on your headphone and walk down the city and not even hear the voices around you, because you're listening to music and you're moving from the one club to the next. Meanwhile,
nature's being destroyed. I talk about that a lot on Frankie Sense, especially. I talk about, the animals that are going extinct and how we can help save those animals. But and you're absolutely right. And what was so interesting was that, the one, I can't remember his name, but one of your experts on there was saying that, human beings are not keystone. We're not keystone animals, let's say.
Individuals.
Yeah, we're not. Like, if we die, nature is going to go on without us, because it knows how to do that. We're the ones that don't know how to do stuff, right? So it's very interesting that we're not important. Elephants are important, and we're killing them. They could be gone in 5 years. Elephants are super important for all of nature, but we are not. And we need to put that into perspective. We think that we're, amazing and wonderful, but really, we're the ones who have killed this planet. We're the ones who are killing it and killing everything in it. And if we don't smarten up, we are going to be dead and there will be no future.
Okay, that's part one of the film.
Yeah.
Part two is, how do we, what do we do? How do we fix this? And is there time to fix it? And when will this consciousness change happen? Will it happen like it happened in Berlin, where suddenly the Berlin Wall fell and nobody knew what was happening, and there was like a critical mass of understanding from the global population that understands what needs to be done, and suddenly we move this whole ship a few degrees, or ideally 180 degrees. That's one scenario, and because I won't go on about the money system because the experts in the film articulate it far better than I do. But it's a very important part of the solution that that our current money system is just not working for us anymore, and that we can create a different world with different currencies. And what you're seeing is you see the Bitcoin and you see all these other cryptocurrencies that are being forbidden or illegal, or criminals use them. These currencies are, in my view, are pointless. They just serve for speculation, to make more money with money. Mm-hmm. And so I think it's a waste of time, because we just first need to get rid of this idea that we should stop making money with money. That there's other things to do, far more important things to do. Yes.
Yeah. And money, the whole money currency system has to go, all of it. And, we're all worried about the debt. We have to pay the debt. We have to pay the national debt. But, what if there wasn't a debt? What if we lived debt-free because we stopped producing stuff we don't need anymore? We're going to go to commercial break very soon. But go ahead. Make your point.
Yeah, the current system will work for certain things for which competition might be good, like computers or cell phones or batteries. Make sustainable batteries. Growth can be there for planting trees and for many sustainable activities, of course. I'll stop here.
Okay. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about that, because I think there's quite a bit to say about sustainability and renewability and, shopping and not shopping. And I'd like to know your views. So get in touch. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Mission Unstoppable with Coach Frankie Picasso will continue right after these messages.
Stop.
It's words you never heard.
Have you ever butt dialed someone accidentally? According to a report, for every 100 calls made to 911 this year, about 40 were dialed unintentionally. Recently, a mother in Canada called police after receiving a nightmarish cell phone call from her daughter, filled with blood-chilling screams and a man shouting murderous threats. Police discovered that the girl was at a movie theater in Victoria. Anticipating the worst, the cops were preparing to descend on the cinema when a dispatcher tried calling the girl's cell phone one last time. The girl answered her phone and explained she was not being attacked by a murderer, but was watching the horror film Cabin in the Woods. What do you call the activity of being impolite in a social situation by looking at your phone instead of paying attention to the person you are with? Fubbing.
It's words you never heard.
I'm Carolyn Davidson, and you can have fun challenging your words you never heard vocabulary with my free app, Too Funny for Words.
It's the Fitness Minute with fitness expert Annette Hammond.
A study from the Center of Science in the Public Interest reviewed the nutritional contents of movie theater popcorn and found an alarming amount of fat, salt, and calories. A typical large tub of popcorn has 1,200 calories, 980 milligrams of sodium, and 60 grams of saturated fat. Adding just 1 tablespoon of butter adds 130 calories. Even the small delivers 670 calories, 550 milligrams of sodium, and 24 grams of saturated fat. Movie theater popcorn is often popped in coconut oil, which is about 90% saturated fat. Add salt to the enormous portions, and your once healthy snack turns into a health offender. Next time you go to the movies, bring your own air-popped popcorn and enjoy the show. For the Fitness Minute, I'm Annette Hammond, keeping you healthy, happy, and fit.
And we're back. You are listening to Mission Unstoppable Radio. Thanks for sticking around. We have a very important topic today. We are talking about planet Earth and how are we going to keep our planet from dissolving, really. We're talking to filmmaker Renee Scheltema. She is the director and writer and everything, the one person show on normalisover.org. You can go there and check it out. And Brent Marchant is with us as well. He reviewed this film originally. And we're going to talk a minute about her other film, the film that came before this film. And Brent, did you want to set us up for that?
Yeah. Yes. Something Unknown was a wonderful film that Renee made a few years ago, where she talked about some of the various metaphysical practices and concepts that we can tap into to help reshape our lives in various ways. Now, given the fact that, one of the most important messages to come out of Normal is Over is that we need to look for ways to help change human nature, I would strongly recommend that, listeners who are interested in pursuing that path also check out Renee's previous film. And Renee, I was wondering if there's anything in particular that you can think of that you incorporated into that movie that people can draw upon as a means to help looking at ways to change their nature.
To say it in a very simple way is that, we tend to look at everything in a three-dimensional way, and that whatever we can measure exists and what we can't measure does not exist. And that's not how the world works. That's not how we work. We don't understand most of what's happening in the universe. Mm-hmm. And our body is basically a mystery. And we can even influence our own health with our mind. That's part of the previous film. They found scientific evidence for that. Most of us know that already, of course. But you have to start. That's a starting point that you must understand that the world is not just a three-dimensional thing that we measure and that that we control, like we superior humans, we control nature, and so we are so great. But we have to stop with that philosophy.
Maybe we have to be like the lobster, Brent. Like if you don't comply, you get to turn into an animal of your choice.
Well, one of the things I really liked about Something Unknown was the array of experts that you brought into the film. I mean, that was really quite a coup, getting a number of the people who you got to speak in that film.
Yeah, this was again a one-woman journey. They it was co-produced with a Dutch Buddhist broadcasting station that was sort of very alive at the time. They are now sort of gobbled up. I'm not even sure if they still exist. And there was the last film I co-produced with Dutch television. But I made it again as a one-woman crew, and I think I also traveled probably for a year on my own, interviewing these different scientists with my little camera, and I spent years and years editing all that footage too. Yeah, so it was also a passion project. I guess that's what I am all about.
And you have a website for that particular film?
www.somethingunknown.com.
And I'd also like to mention that it's also one of the films that I reviewed in my second book, Consciously Created Cinema. So if listeners want to hear or want to read more about the movie, you can also check that out.
For which he won an award.
Yes, it was actually bought by Oprah Winfrey to be aired at OWN, and then they never aired it. I'm not going to gossip, but I'm cross.
Yeah. I might write about it. We'll see. But but back to Normal is Over. The first thing that what all of us need to do is just identify we have a problem, and we all have to be on board with that. Yes, we have a problem. And if you don't think we have a problem, then you need to, hit your head against a wall or something, because we have a problem. And second is then, there's some really great solutions out there that have come up through the film, and it's going to be a matter of adopting the best one. And, there is a fabulous solution that seems pretty easy to me and simple and to follow, and that is, the one of a circular economy. Yeah, I mean, it's so simple and smart and easy, and it makes so much sense because it follows nature. And anything that we do that follows the laws of nature is a good thing. And like a point that was made, like when you get on a train, you don't buy a train to take a train ride. You buy a ticket to take a train ride. So why can't we just, rent things.
Yes, rent products from the big corporations.
Yeah, and then they don't have to
take the product back, reuse it, and sell it back to us without having to touch nature.
Really, because one of the biggest users of silver is the computer industry and the cell phone industry. So mining is something that has to be done, and we're using up those resources because we need it in all the phones and computers that are out there in the world, but we don't need to own them.
Exactly. And there's so many of these phones are being thrown away or burned. It's awful. It's really a dumb way of. If you looked from Mars down to Earth and you look at all these people busy chopping trees and killing animals and making grass around their houses and build cities and tower and so busy with that and making money and then fighting for money, you really wonder what the heck are they doing? Why is that? They've got the wrong story. We need a different story.
Yeah. Is this what it's all about, being alive? Is just buy?
You see, the other story, I'd like to say something about the other story and just give a glimpse of, basically paradise is here. We just forgot about it because of money and because of we have to have a job. We have to, buy food for our kids, but you can grow your own food. In nature, the indigenous people are the closest to nature.
Yes.
And they're the ones who are being ostracized and put in reservations and they're the ones we need to treasure and their lifestyles. And I'm not saying we need to go back to the past. I'm saying we need to. These people live in paradise. Of course, there's illnesses and all of that, but we can also live in paradise if we envision it and then we be strong enough to create it. We have to recreate it because we've destroyed most of it.
Absolutely. And I think you're right on the money there with following societies that do things right, like the indigenous people. This is embarrassing to say, and I'm going to say it because there was a conversation, I don't know, maybe 15 years ago, and this woman was very proud of her collecting her heritage seeds. And I'm not a gardener, and I didn't know what she was talking about. And I'm like, well, what's the big deal about that? But today I'm like hitting myself on the head going, oh my God, with Monsanto and all these horrible companies doing what they're doing to our food, of course you want heritage seeds. You want food that hasn't been genetically modified and have little weevils living in it and stuff. Like you want food that's real. And, I'm not going to say only, but I really try hard to buy only organic food. Yes, it's a little more expensive, but I am really concerned about what goes in my body. And so I want organic food and I want real food. And I don't buy boxed food. I buy things that I have to make myself. And, if we adopted that, okay, we all like convenience, but you know what? Convenience, because now you got cancer and your animals are getting cancer and, crazy stuff is happening in this world. And I think a lot of it has to do with our food and the things that we use.
I'd like to add something to that. It's very easy to say, Monsanto is bad or Shell is bad and Exxon is bad. Yes, they are reckless and they should know better because they're clever people and they just go for the profit. But they're also a victim of the system, and some of them don't realize that they're the victim of a system and that they're doing what they're doing. And like Monsanto is doing this to make a profit and to make the shareholders happy.
Right.
Yay, that's important.
Yeah.
Because they put their money in there and they want to own the world, and it's about power. And these sort of philosophies are not working for all of us. And the power is now in the hands of 10 corporations. I think 10 and 60 people in the whole world own half of the world.
Right. 60 people own half the world. How insane is that? And what really gets me is, okay, you're smart and you made a shitload of money, right? Why don't you care about your children and your grandchildren? Why don't you care about their future? What, are you so short-sighted that you're going to die with all of this money that you can do nothing with because you're dead? So who cares?
They have money and the children have money, and yes, they can maybe buy planes to hide in New Zealand, which a lot of rich people are doing. But I'm not so sure if you can hide at some point in time.
New Zealand has massive earthquakes and stuff.
It's going to be for everyone. Everyone is in this. It's not just even the rich.
Right.
And
so are going to die because of it.
And so the idea is that the 10 corporations that really own everything in the world at the moment need to really pay for the natural capital. Otherwise, they could, and because they need to stop making with the idea of making a profit. This is dangerous territory. I know I'm in dangerous territory, but they need to definitely pay for the natural capital they use. They can't just use the water, the soil, the air, and make a profit.
But if you watch the documentary Blue Gold, right, and you've got the Bushes buying up water, and you've got the Kochs buying up water, and or the Kochs, and you buy all these people are buying up water and the blue gold and green gold, the land and stuff, because they're greedy, and they want to make more money.
But it's also because it's free. It needs to have a price. We need to reprice everything. Trees need to have a price. Land, not just land, but nature needs to have a price. You can't just dig it, mine it, and get it out of a poor country in Africa and make a whole lot of profit. It's just not. It's going to kill us all. So it needs to stop.
I think this is really. Go ahead. 1 minute, Brent. 1 minute.
Okay. Well, I was also going to say one other thing that you mentioned that I thought that's interesting too is the whole convenience question. I mean, the idea that everybody's convinced everything has to be convenient. And so oftentimes, you're not necessarily getting any more convenience. You're just trading one thing for another. I mean, people are astounded when I tell them I don't have a cell phone. People are astounded when I tell them I don't have a car. They look at me like deer in the headlights saying, how do you even get by through your day? And it's easy. It's possible. It can be done.
Right.
It's not really like I'm being inconvenienced for doing so.
It's actually fun not having a car.
It's actually fun not having a cell phone.
Yeah. I mean, you see families being destroyed by cell phones. Parents are on their phone or ignoring their children. It's like the people on the phone are more important than the people sitting right in front of them. It's really crazy how it works out.
It makes all of us lonely.
Yes.
All of us are sitting behind the computer on their own. It's crazy. When I traveled, I probably should say that later, but in my travels, I met everyone on their own behind the computer.
We have to go to a commercial. We'll hear more about your travels. I want to hear about them when we come back. Don't go anywhere.
Right after these messages.
Stop.
In today's business world, a helping hand or idea that doesn't come with an invoice is a treasured find. And if that happens to you, then you need to pay it forward to keep other entrepreneurs from making mistakes or getting a raw deal. It's called Paying It Forward with Josephine Gerasi, Wednesday mornings at 10, 9 a.m. Central. Josephine is going to have the guests describe their accomplishments, the lessons they've learned, both good and bad, and then sharing those pieces of knowledge as we create a movement of paying it forward. For more information about Josephine, her business, and background, you can go to mymomknowsbest.com. Josephine Gerasi has always been a problem solver. She saw this need and has turned it into a movement. It's Paying It Forward, with tips, tools, and advice and hard lessons learned. These pieces of knowledge can make a huge difference for you, your business, and others. So join us for Paying It Forward with Josephine Gerasi, Wednesday mornings at 10 a.m., 9 a.m. Central on TogiNet.com.
One of my favorite books is called Forgotten English by author Jeffrey Kaser, who looks at the origins and histories of the language. For example, take the term Fritterwohn. That's an old English expression, probably borrowed from German, that means fleeting weeks and refers to what we call a honeymoon. A fribbler is a guy who doesn't ever make it to the honeymoon. The word fribbler comes from the 18th century and refers to a man who is in love with a woman but just won't commit to marriage. Chaucer coined the term pigasnia, which comes from the phrase pig's eye to mean sweetheart. Hey guys, why don't you try that one on your girlfriend and see how it goes?
It's words you never heard.
I'm Carolyn Davidson, and you can have fun challenging your words you never heard vocabulary with my free app, Too Funny for Word.
You're listening to Mission Unstoppable Radio. I'm your host, Frankie Picasso. My guest today is Renee Scheltema, and Brent Marchant is with us as well. It's Mission Unstoppable Radio, and we have this amazing show for you today. We're talking about the future of our planet, the future of our world, and we don't have that long in which to work things out. As a matter of fact, we need to do it by 2020. Before you talk about your travels, there was one piece of information that I found absolutely remarkable in your film. $200 billion a year is what it's going to cost to save civilization. $200 billion a year. Now, that sounds like a lot of money, doesn't it? Every year we need to spend that. However, this is 1/8 of the global military budget. How insane is that? So we're willing to spend all that money on fighting and guns and tanks and whatever, missiles. We could save our planet. We could save our planet with that, 1/8 of that budget.
And be happy.
And be happy. Come on, people. Come on. World leaders, women, where are you? We need you. We need to do this, and we need to do it right now because there is a tipping point of no return, and we're very, very close to it. We're 3 years away from it.
Yeah, it's overshoot and collapse. We've already passed the overshoot and collapse day. Yeah, so we really need to act now. We need a mass mobilization.
Mass mobilization. Yeah.
It's stupid to deny. It's easy to deny because you don't want to change your lifestyle, and your lifestyle wouldn't have to change that much in order to actually live a happier life. It's not that bad. It can be done. We just need everyone needs to understand on what page we are, and most people unfortunately don't, because we're all paralyzed by the idea that we have to make money and more money, and that's all we need to do, and economic growth will make us happier. We need to just get rid of that old-fashioned, outdated story.
You know, people love to look back on, the pioneer days. They love to think about how hardy they were, how they traveled, across the West and in the U.S., and how they crossed the Atlantic Ocean from Europe. And they were these travelers who just really did amazing things. And they did it without all of the stuff that we have. We don't need our stuff. Matter of fact, as you get older and my age, you look around and you go, I need to get rid of stuff. I don't want stuff. And you don't want to leave all your stuff, for your kids to throw out. So our landfills are becoming just, filled with garbage that we don't need. I look at the trinkets and tchotchkes and things, and I thought, who needs that stuff in their house? You don't need those little $2 things from the dollar store in your house. You don't need it. Well, stop making them, please. They're not decoration.
But then you have, I keep coming back to the media and the importance of the role of the media worldwide, because it's hard to find an investigative journalism pieces of writing or news, and if they exist, they don't make money because people do not want to be informed. They want to be entertained and that makes money, and there's a big problem there because the media almost, and this is, I think it's almost the media that brought Trump into power. It's the media who like the sensationalism, and it's the media who are short-sighted and superficial in their wish to make profit. And this is dangerous because people get lost. Clever students are lost. I spoke to a few students at Berkeley. I stayed in the U.S. just now in the Bay Area for 5 months. Wow. and I went to Berkeley, and I showed the film to a few students in Berkeley, and they were just like falling off their chairs. I finally understand what's going on, because you don't even get this sort of information that's in the film. At university, you get the old-fashioned economics.
The whitewashed version, yeah.
Yeah, you don't get to connect the dots. You get all these parts of the puzzle, but you don't get the whole picture. And these students are our future. And the moment they can, and really, I think this educational market should be really very cool, because I made this film for the younger generation. I made this film for my children. For my
we need to get you on a university circuit. We have to get you out there to all of the schools. I mean, you know what? My mother had a degree in economy, but she had her master's. But math and economy and money, they make it sound so hard that I turn my brain off because I don't understand it. I don't get it, right? Yeah. But it's not hard. It's not difficult. When you listen to the experts in your film, you're going, oh, okay, I get it. I get it. Yes. And it's so don't turn off. Listen, because it's easy to get. If you're listening to this show, watch this video. Normal is over. Watch it, buy it, do whatever you have to do, rent it. Take it to your school. Ask your school, ask your church, ask whoever to, hold a showing, because it's a very, very important film.
And 16 volunteers have been so kind in the past year to offer to translate it into all these languages. It's been translated into German, French, Italian, Spanish, Portuguese, even Chinese.
That's awesome.
And these are all volunteers who just loved the film and said, what can I do? And I said, oh, would you mind translating it? And they just worked for a month, or I don't know how long, and translated the film in all these languages because they want to share the information with their country. And I'm very happy and thankful for that.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things I really liked about the movie, too, is that you present your case very directly and to the point, but you don't resort to a lot of hysterical scare tactics.
Right.
And I think that's important because it turns off a lot of viewers when they see, everything is going to fall apart at every next corner. You end up coming up with a film here that makes its case, talks about solutions, and really gets to the heart of the matter without, scaring the bejesus out of everybody.
That's a really good point, because it didn't. I mean, it naturally scared me, but it wasn't because of scare tactics. It was just common sense conversation with the right people.
Thank you. I worked hard at it. I really needed to get this message out before I die.
Was that approach?
We all die. Really.
Was that approach intentional, Renee?
I made this film from my own savings, because they wouldn't sponsor it, because the people with money are part of the establishment, and they didn't think I could pull it off as a one-woman crew. So I just rented out my house. I can't go back home in that sense, and I spent the most of my money producing this film on my own. And
wow.
Money has to flow. Like I could have bought myself a tiny flat in Amsterdam and then sit behind the geraniums. I'm so happy I didn't. I live out of a suitcase now, and I'm totally fine. It doesn't matter where I am. This is not about me. This is about the message that I happen to be a messenger, and I happen to have had the education and the experience to turn a message into a film. I really wrap the film around the message, and so the future. I already have another idea for a film, and there's now a foundation being set up called makingofthefuture.org. The Dutch one is being reset up, but we have a non-profit status, and the American one has the non-profit status in a few weeks.
Nice.
One form 1023EZ. Well, sorry, has to be sent off, and then we're good to go. And then the idea is that with this foundation, I will continue with another film and another project to work with like-minded people to recreate and regenerate the beauty of nature, because that's where we need to go.
Yeah.
And with another currency, we can get all the joblessness and all the desperate people to work and do this, because we've damaged so much. We have another 1,000 years to fix the damage that we've done, and all the unemployed in the world can get to work
That's awesome.
get to work at it.
If folks want to get in touch with you, Renee, where do they go?
info@normalisoverthemovie.com. It sounds like you go to my assistant, but I'm still sort of a one-woman crew.
Yeah. Well, you're living out of a suitcase, so
yes.
Yeah. Wow. And how many countries have you been to now?
For this film, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah. So I've been in China just after Mao's death. That was an illegal little trip. I'm not so sure if I can go back there. They might put me behind bars. The United States, Canada, Australia, Tasmania, Malawi, South Africa, the Netherlands, Belgium, India. Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah. Yeah, but it needs to roll. It needs to be spent on good causes and not just kept.
Well, that was the other thing. We only got 3 minutes, so everybody knows that. But the other part of that currency was we're already doing it like with airline miles. We already have a different currency. You know, you build up points at the grocery store. You build up points for your airline miles, or you build up points other places, and you get things for free. And that is a form of currency, and that's an alternate form of currency that we can employ to get us out of this mess.
It's so simple. I'm
very simple.
Yeah, and so if people don't understand it, that this is the plan that I hope to realize with the help of the foundation. And by the way, I just put the film on Vimeo today as well.
Nice.
Because I think it should be just online. You have to pay a little bit, and then you support the cause. You know, it's not going to go to a hammer. It's going to go to green causes. So I put it on Vimeo today because I thought, this is a great moment. Everybody can watch it. And then if you want to hold a screening, then at least you know what you're in for. You've seen the film. And if you want to buy the educational DVD, you can know what you're buying. Otherwise, Normal is Over is it can apply to many things.
Yeah.
And so
no, it's a wonderful film, and I hope everybody will watch it and respond to it in a really positive way. And we're not being negative here. We are being proactively positive. Because I do believe that we can do this. I do believe that we can save our planet. I do believe that there's solutions in this movie that are brilliant and easy. And it's just a matter of, having that tipping point or having the right people in power to care enough to make this change happen for the rest of us.
And help spread the word, become an ambassador or a partner or, help get the message out. It's not about me.
Yeah, it's about the message, and it's amazing. Brent, thank you so much for bringing this to our attention and being on the show with us today.
Thank
Renee,
you, Brent.
Thank you so very much.
And thank you, Renee, for bringing this movie to the world.
Yeah.
Thank you
so much. And thank you, each and every person listening today and in the future. We thank you for paying attention to this very important issue as well.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
Oh, it's my pleasure. And Brent, thanks for coming on this show.
My pleasure.
Karina, thanks for producing the show. And we'll see each and every one of you again next week. Thanks so much. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
We're down. They didn't stop. Stories of people who, when the odds were against them, turned defeat into victory. You've been listening to Mission Unstoppable with Coach Frankie Picasso. See you next time, and always remember...
Don't stop.